Alright, small update. It's kind of hard to find cork board that is larger than the standard, like 12 inches. I also need to make sure it's thick enough because this is about maybe like a centimeter or half an inch thick. So I need to get cork board that's 1/4 of an inch thick if I want to put a backing board behind that. And then I also kind of want to get a piece of fabric so that I can cover it like my friend did hers. This is some velvet that she put over the cork to cover up the holes. I think it looks super cool, so I kind of want to do the same. So that's my plan. Okay, here's what it looks like. I should have filmed myself cutting everything, but this is the board that I found at Michael's. With a coupon, it was only $10, which I think is a really good deal. So it's thick foam board, and then the other side has cork. The cork layer is a bit thin, a little bit thinner than I would have liked, but I think it'll work fine. It does feel sturdy, and it's thick enough for most pins. That was my worry, is it had to be thick enough for the pins not to poke through the other side. I think the space this allowed was 1 centimeter, and it's actually thicker, so it does poke out a little bit on the back. Oh, so yeah, I didn't have too much space, and when you put it in, it does poke out a little bit. And I did go to Walmart and purchase some cheap velvet. I haven't glued it on. Nothing is attached yet. I kind of just wanted to see what it looked like because the velvet on their website looked a lot darker than this. This is more of like a light purple color, whereas I kind of wanted something similar to what my friend used. So this is the pin board one of my friends made, and the suede on this one is a lot darker, and it's also, I think, a little bit higher quality. The one I got from Walmart isn't the best, but it does still look really cool, and I think it would work. I don't like that it's really, really shiny though. Not bad. They look cool. I do think the velvet is really busy. It kind of detracts from the pins a little bit. So I may go to the fabric store and try to find one that's not so reflective. But I am happy with how this is turning out so far. Funny. Wow, these are expensive. Sanding files. Oh, hold up. To hold your pieces up as you paint them. $5 seems like a lot though. Wow, they really have a lot of legitimate collector craft stuff. I got what I wanted though. I was here the other day because their clearance section's actually not bad. And this was the board I was going to use had I only purchased cork. It's not needed anymore, but I was thinking maybe I should get it anyway in case I need it later. It's only $4, but $7 isn't a bad price. I bought like a full set of that though. hair is still here. I bought this for my friend the other day. They had a couple. Got myself one too. Poly mesh. Oh. Nothing else. I think I'm gonna check out. Oh wait, ribbon. I tried to avoid Hobby Lobby, but they had the type of velvet that I really wanted. And they also had this really pretty red one, but the purple one is what I came here for. It's really pretty. It's also kind of shiny as well, but because of the darker color, it's not as noticeable, so I think it looks a lot better than the one I got from Walmart. Okay, so this portion will be voiceover because I did a terrible job of filming myself doing this. So basically, I just aligned the fabric. First of all, I did cut it in half because it was 1 yard in length and I only needed half of that. Not even, I did have some excess, but as you can see, I am gluing down one of the sides so that I can secure one side. I tried to be sparing, but also have enough glue to where it'll be secure without leaving those bubbles of glue and hard texture that sometimes glue guns do. I then started Mod Podging the cork side to make sure the fabric would stay secure on it. I think some of these sides though dried up before I could lay the fabric over it, so unfortunately there were some areas that you'll see later in this video that did not properly glue down. For the most part, that's fine because after I flipped it back over and started gluing the sides to close off the fabric, it was stretched out enough that it was still pretty secure, but you will see that those areas that weren't glued down with the Mod Podge moved a bit. For now, that'll work. It's a learning experience for the next one, but I did cut off the excess fabric before and after gluing the sides down. And this is what it looks like. I think it looks great. It's exactly what I pictured. The only thing left, I think, is to find these hooks somewhere online that I can install on the opposite ends, because I don't really want this hanging portrait. I prefer to hang it landscape, so that'll be my next step, and then it's ready to go. Okay. Well, I think it's more or less officially done. I went back to the craft store and got some of this discounted backing board, I think. This is meant for framing. Like to matte pictures and stuff in frames, but it's nice thick paper that I was able to use to cover up the messy back with the fabric glued on, and then I just glued the inside of the frame, stuck it on there, and there we go. Oh, I also forgot. I did add these because this frame only had hooks to hang it portrait, and I want it to be wide and landscape. So here it is, and here's the one my friend made, which is still beautiful. The suede, oops, the velvet is not the same. So I do wonder where she got this because it's much less reflective or like textured, but I think what I chose was still good. It is a little bit loose in certain areas by the edges, which I'm a little upset about because I tried to stretch it out as I was gluing to make sure that wouldn't happen, but I think it's still secure enough that it's not going to be an issue. And if it is an issue, I do have another one, so I can just pull this out and re-glue it, because the only downside to this is the foam board was thicker than the space the frame allowed. Like when you were supposed to frame something and you put glass or whatever, and then the backing board, it had a certain set thickness that the frame allowed, and I think it was like half an inch. No, it might have been like a centimeter. It wasn't very thick is the point, and the foam board is, so it does poke out, but because I used the hooks versus what I usually use, which are the jagged teeth hangers, it's allowed to poke out a little bit. You can, on areas where I could feel the foam board didn't glue as hard as I wanted it to, it does like poke out when I press pins into it, but again, it's against a wall. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Yeah, I'm so happy with this. It looks amazing. It also fits a lot of pins, which is good because I joined a bunch of Kickstarters recently, so late June I'm probably going to be getting packages, and then I have a couple more scattered throughout the rest of the year, so I'll be getting a lot of pins that I can definitely decorate this. I'm debating whether or not I want to include keychains, because I think these keychains would look so good But I think I'm gonna have to find some push pins that look really cute, because all the push pins I have are kind of normal, like this. And I want to keep the aesthetic of this one. And I did put the mini pins up here just so they don't get lost amongst all the other pins. So we'll see what happens once I get all those new pins. And obviously I'm going to be going to Dragon Con this year, and I usually get pins when I go to Dragon Con. So we'll see if I find anything that interests me. I'll give a small tour. So here I have one of the, I think if not the first Kickstarter for pins that I ever joined, which was these. I was going to keep all the ocean pins together, but I wanted to keep this set together, kind of organize it that way. If they were part of a set or from the same artist, I wanted to keep them closer together, with some exceptions, because that's a Gaki pin and these are also Gaki pins. But I had a lot of mushroom related pins and like vegetable stuff, so I wanted to, plant-based stuff, so I wanted to keep those together. And then we moved into animals, and I happened to have 2 crow pins. Then we moved to the sea creatures, and then some bugs, and then reptiles. Only have 1 reptile, and then just random creatures, and then obviously the ones up there. And I might move this one over to my corkboard over here, because I do have a lot of the kawaii ones over there. Pokemon is an exception though, because I really like these, and these were part of a Kickstarter, one of the first Kickstarters that I ever did. And I don't think you can get these pins anymore. The artist I don't think sells them, so they're special, so they get to be on here. A lot of these are Hot Topic pins. Again, pop culture, a lot of text based on pre-existing media, things like that. These in the middle are kind of just general, and again they have text. I just couldn't figure out where I wanted to put that one, so I just put it in the center. Again, that's based on Castlevania, I think. This is not based on anything, but again, just kind of general death motifs over here. With the exception of this guy, he's just on his lonesome because he's got a dangly bit, so it's kind of special, and I wanted him to stand out. I'm gonna probably include this corner as an anime one. Pokemon doesn't count, because I also have some Kuroko's basketball pins and a Lelouch pin and Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. So I'm gonna make this the anime corner, and I wanted them to be kind of together because they're from the same series and I love them. So that's it so far. Like I said, I have these still. I hope this helps somebody out there who was curious about making one of these to make one of their own. I was very surprised by how simple it is to make one. The frame was very, very lucky of me to have found, because I went to a Goodwill outlet, which is the kind where they just toss everything in blue bins in a warehouse and let you have at it, and it's all charged based on the weight of the item. But if you happen to get something that obviously is going to be very heavy, a lot of the time the cashiers will just set a flat price to it if you ask them to. So I went to the checkout. This was £6. The cashier had pity on me, and she offered to sell it to me for $5, and I immediately was like, yes, please, thank you very much, ma'am. It's a beautiful frame. It is heavy though, so I did have to order, and I don't have them, but I ordered like a multi-pack of metal push pins, because these, I don't trust these anymore. They fall off eventually, and with how heavy I know this is going to get with pins, I wanted something a little sturdier. So I got metal push pins that have a hook, and that's what's holding it up right now. A little tricky to put on the wall because they're on the smaller side, but supposedly they're supposed to hold at least 30 pounds. But yeah, frame was $5, fabric was $4, the foam board was $10, and with the exception of the frame, if you cut everything in half, because after cutting everything to size, I had enough material to make another one of these in this size. Putting it together was not hard at all. I just used hot glue gun. So overall, realistically, I didn't pay more than $20 for this. And then I also found another frame while I was at the thrift store that I think would look really cool when I spray painted black, and it was only $250. And I have enough material to make a small one. So I figured, okay, I can make more of these. So the possibilities are endless for me right now. Well, not completely endless, because I am running out of wall space. That's kind of one of the reasons that I wanted to make this big one, so that there was just one place for me to put pins. And the only reason I didn't put that cork board over here is because this one gets covered a lot by stuff and the door when I have it open. So I 100% wanted this to be a set piece that I always see in my room, and it looks amazing. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.